Hello everyone. So in this video, let me continue sharing my experiences of failed Jira implementations. And this one is actually quite obvious, and hopefully this video will be short. Let us see. Now, when it comes to implementing Jira, there has to be some kind of a budget. There has to be some kind of sponsorship. And without spending money, you cannot really expect your Jira rollout to be successful. So let me explain. Now, of course, these days, setting up a Jira instance and getting started with Jira is actually very easy. All you need to do, you just need to go to Atlassian's website and sign up for a free Jira Cloud trial, and you're basically up and running. But setting up Jira or getting started is not really the point here, because even if you talk about the Jira data center, in the beginning, of course, there will be some cost, right? So, of course, getting started, whether on data center or whether you're on Jira Cloud, of course, there will be some cost, and usually when people want to roll out Jira in their organization, they have some initial budget. Now, the mistake is that people don't really realize that you have to constantly, over the period of time, in fact, regularly, every year, they have to spend money. They have to basically make sure not only your Jira instance is running properly. Of course, it could be Jira Cloud, it could be Jira Data Center. That is not really important. If you are, of course, on Jira Data Center, then you have to evaluate your license usage. You have to evaluate the volume of issues and data in your Jira, and of course, there will be some cost of the infrastructure. And if you're on cloud, of course, you have to do something similar, but not really worrying about the infrastructure, but you will worry about the licenses at least. So there will be some initial cost. There will be some ongoing cost, but if you don't really have a dedicated team or a consultant or Jira admins, then your Jira rollout will not be successful. I remember not once, but I think 3 times I've seen Jira instances where, yes, 3 times, where every user was a Jira admin. Can you imagine? It was, of course, for a small to medium-sized company. I mean, not really a big company, not really in thousands of users, but I'm talking about like few hundred users. So they were actually giving every user the admin right. And of course, you can imagine the damage that, So basically, in this case, Jira instance was not really messed up. It was beyond messed up, because every time there was a need to set up a new project, people would, of course, create a new project, but at the same time, they will do whatever they wanted to do, which is, of course, a problem. But at the same time, if you don't really have a dedicated person to maintain your Jira instance, to be responsible for implementing best practices, and of course, a lot of other things that are involved around Jira administration, then your Jira rollout will be not successful. So this is, of course, very obvious. If you have some initial budget for rolling out Jira, just setting up Jira instance is not really enough. You have to also keep some budget for building this team. It could be, of course, it really depends on how big is your team. If you're talking about like a company which is like 1,000 plus, 2,000 plus, so definitely in 1,000, then you should definitely have something dedicated in your organization. Maybe hire a couple of Jira admins to begin with, of course. And of course, if you have every user who is a Jira admin, then it's a big problem. If you have every Jira project lead as a Jira admin, then again, it is also a problem. So you should not rely on your users to be the Jira admin, right? No matter how experienced they are, it is not really their job. Jira administration is a full-time job. So if you are starting with Jira, or maybe you already have Jira instance in your company, don't delegate Jira admin work to your Jira users or project managers, right? And I think in the beginning, when you do evaluation, it is probably okay to, just get started. And Jira Cloud, of course, has these templates that will give you some workflows. And I think these templates, although they have their own problems, because whenever you use a template, you end up creating a lot of unnecessary configurations. But in the beginning, I think for evaluation, it is good because you can get started with some configurations, some workflows. And I think in the beginning, it is totally okay to, just create a little bit of mess. But when you do a proper rollout, then rely on some professional, experienced Jira admin. And of course, you can hire a consultant like me or anyone, to be honest. But if you work with a consultant, then you can probably have some kind of a mixed approach. Maybe you can have your internal Jira admin. I mean, this is again one option. Option number one was that you have your competency, Jira competency, all within your company. So you have your full-time employees. They could be contractors, but having someone full-time for you. The other approach could be that you can outsource everything, like your Jira instance is managed totally by someone else. And that company, Atlassian consultancy company like Sparks is my company. Of course, we can help you to, you can of course focus on your work and we'll take care of your Jira instance. And the third option could be that you can have your own internal Jira admins, but you can bring in a consultant or an expert, whenever needed on need basis. So this is something that we do a lot, where if our clients, they need any help, they need any guidance or regular guidance, they of course, talk to us. We may or may not own their Jira instance, but we can definitely, guide them and do some kind of a regular check. And at the same time, of course, I'm talking about, spending money, because when you have these people, you have to spend money on, hiring them, or it could be full-time or contractors or, some another company. But at the same time, you also have to keep this in mind that it is not really a one-time job. I mean, don't really ask a consultant to come in once in a while. Have some kind of a regular engagement so that they can do a check. And that is where you will find that a lot of Atlassian consultancy companies, they do some kind of a health check. So I think you can just ask them to review your Jira instance and then tell you how it is. And by looking at Jira instance, we can get an idea about the damage. But at the same time, I think it is extremely important that we also get to talk to the users, business users. So there is no fixed number of configurations or ideal number of custom fields that you should or should not create in Jira, because if you have to create 300 custom fields, probably okay. If you have to create 3,000 custom fields, probably not okay. But there is no number, right? so it all depends on what you're trying to do. Of course, I'm just giving you an example of custom fields. But when we do some kind of a health check, we don't really look at just Jira instance. We also want to understand how you're using the tool. What is your end goal? And that is actually very important. Using Jira is not really about the features and the fancy things that you have in Jira. It's all about what you are trying to do with Jira, because that is the key, and that is where we focus a lot. We actually ask people, okay, what is your end goal? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to use this tool to deliver some kind of project where you have to maybe work on a product, or you're providing a service, or maybe you have a agile way of working, or you have waterfall way of working. So I think I'm just trying to give you an idea that the delivery is actually very important, where you should focus on using a tool like Jira that will enable you, but it should not be the other way around, right? Don't really focus only on Jira. That is where people actually make mistakes. They think that, okay, we have a tool that we can customize. They keep on customizing it. They keep on messing up Jira without focusing on the actual work. So I think apart from hiring a Jira consultant or an experienced Jira administrator, I always say that you should also spend money hiring good project managers. And good project managers are not really power Jira users. I mean, of course, having a good knowledge of Jira is great, but project management is totally different field, and a good project manager can actually do project management, can actually deliver even on a notepad. I mean, you don't really need fancy tools to deliver. Of course, and I'm just giving you probably an extreme example, but if your project manager is relying too much on Jira, then probably they are not really project managers. All right, that is it. That is all I wanted to talk about. Have some budget, regular budget, if you want your Jira rollout to be successful. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.